Ammon Hillman, as we've talked about on the channel, started his band tour with the group rock band Junius, and they are in the midst of a break right now, but they have a few left to do. And in the midst of this break, where Ammon has gone on stage and um, he has he did like a little intro and talk, say his little speeches and stuff like that, like he does on the YouTube videos, but in person.
That's right, people. You know why? Because Princeton is so goddamn dumb.
Yeah, so just like, basically like in person videos, basically. But and then you of course have the stream that is pretty interesting, kind of cool. You have Amin on stage, and you never really know what he's gonna do. But he'll be yelling out some Greek and all kinds of other stuff. And in this case, seems like he's doing nothing. But he's just waiting for that moment. It's coming. Trust me. So yeah. So really interesting uh, thing to happen. How many times have you ever seen a biblical or Greek scholar or any historian in general go on a band tour with seemingly no experience in a band, at least current experience? And this group Junius even changed some of their album or made a whole album for Ammon. So that's fascinating in of itself. I've never heard of anything like that. Of course, I talk to scholars all the time on my other channel, so maybe someone is aware of something I don't. But yeah, so very interesting. But also the dynamics of meeting in person and the fallout from it because of the sad news with this David figure and the essay that this person did. You can check out my prior videos on that topic. Very sad stuff, and the responses that Ammon had was a little bit shocking. In the midst of these responses, many people might not have noticed, but Ammon seems to have developed an infatuation, an idolization, a love for this group called Junius, which was just so fascinating to me because Ammon is the leader of this group. Someone might call him a teacher or a translator, but no, at the end of the day, they have all kinds of Discord groups. They have people that meet up in person. um, uh, a huge community. There's the like very deep inner circles that we've talked about on the channel. Of course, many would call this a cult. So to see someone that would be like a cult figure go into the band, but then kind of develop some type of infatuation with the band members is just a really, really fascinating thing to watch. So I want to talk about that today. So let's do that. So let's see here. I'm going to go in order as far as time, but he's talked about this many different times. All right. So where are we at? We are at here now. Okay.
It's because I talked to a lot of them, and I didn't do much talking this time. I did a lot of listening.
So this is right after they get back from the first set of the tour, the first set of the band appearances and all that.
A lot of listening. Put that picture of Orion up there. People, look at Orion with his guitar. Right, look at this man. Oh, God. States of ecstasy. How much ecstatic porn, rock and roll punk can you take? Look at this guy. People, he always does this too. He goes and will start a set, raise his guitar up. It's gorgeous. It's like watching a priest. It's like watching a priest making the place holy. Right? Hail Orion. God damn. People, people, I just want you to look. Just look. Give me another one. Give him that one. People, who was this guy? You know who this guy was on the tour? This was the guy trying not to get in the way. This was the guy trying to learn the way, trying to learn the craft from genuine, bona fide fucking masters. This guy is lucky to be there. He's lucky to be there with those musicians.
So this guy, Ammon, who is the leader of this group, this person that has all this knowledge and wisdom supposedly from the views, that anytime he's critiqued, he cannot just, there's no situation where he has even the ability to see himself as being wrong about anything. Can't even conceive of it, so much that he's never even admitted to anything wrong that I've ever seen. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos of him. This person, who clearly thinks highly of himself, and of course the group as well, obviously, like the group almost sees him as a god, and for a lot of people, this person is not shouldn't be at this group. That's really interesting. That why would he not belong of all the people? Because if you're a fan of Ammon, you're thinking, of course he belongs.
Do you understand? Look at him there. He's pointing, people. Who's he pointing to at the crusade? Who's he pointing to? What's this? I think this was Baltimore. Oh, God, people, look. It's Jesus and the little boy. It's Jesus and the little boy. And he's wearing 420, a constant companion. Oh, God, where's my new whip? I love the people. What is that thing called? Rhymes with it's 93%. Where is the unholiness of this whip? Where is the whip? Chewy, you get the whip. People, what happened by the final city of this first leg? Ammon relaxed and hit it. Right? Ammon relaxed and hit it. I found a channel, some kind of spot of perfection in the cosmos where people were looking at me, and I made the intentional effort. I made the intentional effort. Where's he gonna put that? Shut up, Martha! Ow! God!
Who's Martha?
God! I used the whip in the final performance, people, because I could. I let the demon come out, right? And somebody from the audience said, "Is that guy possessed?" And some other people came up to me afterwards and said, "What was that?" I said, "It was ancient Greek. It's fantastic. Do you have more? Can you bring more?" Ow! And I said, "Oh God, this is the greatest feeling. Looking into the eyes of the people and giving them the words, power of the Antichrist in their very eyes. Oh, people. Oh, those musicians around."
So it's interesting to me because so I've asked around, I've asked different Ammonites, and even asked the people like Neil or Jevim and whoever else, I was watching my video, if Ammon ever had any experience, and it doesn't seem like he ever did have experience as far as like being in a rock tour or a band or anything like that. And so I could see how he might not be terribly confident in himself going into it. And you almost do see that on stage, as we saw in the first time we covered this, where he was like going to the wrong mic, and then his mic was off, and how he approached things, and like on the stage he was just like standing there and just not talking. Now, other times it does seem like he was kind of getting the hang of it. So it's almost like the way I'm interpreting this is that it seems like he maybe might not have been as confident in himself to begin with, and uh, as he stayed on stage and stuff like that, he got a little bit more comfortable, and apparently with this whole whip thing, that's when he's like, okay, I've got it. I'm good now.
On this, right, people? You have to remember all of this. All of this carried. Do you see those gents? You see those gents around there? They're the artists, people. They're the musicians. They're the technicians. They're the one who are bringing you the force, people of the Scythian, the force of the Scythian with the power to change lives.
The power to change lives. We'll get a lot more phrases like this as we keep watching, but one thing I want to ask is why is Ammon even talking? Why would he care about the prestige or the ability to change lives of a band? And why does he think that this band can supposedly change lives and other things? He refers to this as creation, advancement, education. He says those beloved musicians, they all have something good. They want something good for people. He says tremendous, incredible. So it's almost like an elevation of typical band stuff, and that's what we'll see here in a second. And Amin even admits to, he's like, hey, this looks like normal, but it's different for me.
The power to change lives now, Almond. You've got to get it complete. You've got to hit the target, right? Joe and I, good conversations in the van. People, this is how crazy. This is how crazy this expedition started. We started in a storm. God damn, we rode that lightning right into town. Do you know what we did? We broke down. Oh, when we broke down, I thought I was just sitting there like a goofball. Right in 420, it's storming outside. Rain's coming down. The van breaks down. We're hours away from the venue. Hours. What are we going to do? And these guys, under the leadership of Joe, just crack, man. Each one cracks into place. They've got new vans coming in. Somebody's coming to pick up that van. Oh, God, they're throwing the. Get the equipment back on board and take off. They worked like a finely oiled machine. Like a finely oiled machine. And all I could do, people, was stand there and observe, watch. I don't get me wrong, I lifted shit and I tried to make myself useful. If you have never been to a Junius concert, you need to see. You need to see what the skill is all about. This finale that they play, Scythian.
So he's saying you need to see what this is all about. Is he just advertising for his tour? Is that really what's going on here? Is he wants people to come out? I think it's a little bit more than that. But I think that Amin is very infatuated and thinks it's so great. We're going to get into that why in a second. But I do hold the option that maybe he's just advertising in like in a really exciting hyperbolic way. Maybe.
People, it makes me want to jump out and tear something up. Do you understand what I'm saying? It brings nemesis. And that's what we need. People, I'm now in the zone, and about to bring those two up. Look at them. People want to point out some of satanic congregation now. We're going to focus on the people, right? That was Madeleine, of course. You see Josh. People, these are all, put them up. These are all people that I had the privilege of meeting, the privilege and honor of meeting students who have invested their lives. Show them.
Okay. And he's going to talk about who he saw in the when they all met up and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe it's just advertising, but I also think it's a little bit more than that.
I sat in a
Oh, and I should comment. So that video we just watched, that video was in the same video that got taken down because of all the comments about Grape and this David fellow that allegedly did some very bad things to another person of the group. The David fellow that was part of the group, the same one that Bori specifically said, shout out to David for doing something. And Bori is one of the top Ammonites. So, yeah, that's really fascinating that he would talk about the band in this way in the same context of something that happened that was very, very bad.
van with rockers, real ones, real rockers. And in the midst of a tragedy, go ahead, show. Look at, first of all, look at Matthew. People, I shouldn't be showing my own photos probably, but they're nice. Matthew, look, there's Matthew, right? He's getting everything organized, doing everything. Boom, making it possible. Boom, there's your place. Boom, go, professional. And what happens? Everything breaks down. This guy's out there, Dana, and he's giving commands. God, we're on the highway. Oh, pushing the U-Haul off the highway, putting out cones. Oh, standing in the rain and the lightning. And I realized something. I realized these people get the job done. They go 100%. All right. Now, I know there's many of you sitting there saying, oh, Ammon, you're so dumb. That's how rock bands are. Well, right, people, I get to experience it straight up.
So you heard him there say it. So he specifically says, yeah, something like, you think you're just being dumb. That's how rock bands are. Yeah, exactly. Right. So as you're watching, think to yourself, why would Ammon be talking about? I mean, maybe he's just advertising, but it seems like there's something more to that. Why is he getting so excited about specifically the people that are part of the band? Why isn't he talking about like the cool message that he got, or more about the people that they met, or the conversations that they had, or the ability to meet him? He did talk about that a little bit in the last video, but why specifically this individual band members, and why does anyone care about if they were late and all the work that they did to get there?
And so it kind of has a different impact. And I have a fresh, kind of a new lease on life from what I've seen. And
so he's got a new lease on life. It's got a different impact. Him experiencing the band and the struggles they had to be on time.
These guys are warriors. Put Joe up there. These guys are warriors. Look at them. Somebody said in the comments, just leave Joe up there for a minute. Somebody said in the comments, they said, Ammon was so into the performance that that's all he was doing. And he was kind of blacking out and going into that zone. And I was trying to hit it 100%. And I wanted that 100% mark. I didn't want anything that would be less than what a great band would deserve. Right? A great band. There's a lot of tradition. Look at that guitar. Who's that guy? Oh, God. Look at him. Do we have any of the... Where's Orion holding up the guitar? These are holy people. Right? These are holy people. And I'm standing there in their midst just trying to be worthy. And I'm...
These are holy people. He's just trying to be worthy.
Back here at home now, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, these good men would have done what is just. I need to follow their example, even if it's tough, even if it catches me an entire hour and a half of Neil crazily creating a fantasy world of cover for the ill that has been done. Oh, what is happening, people? If I can watch that band persevere and drive through a storm, if I can watch Junius stand and run into the breach successfully, they weren't going to miss that first show. No, hell no, they weren't going to miss a show. Right? Done all this time, all these years, not missing a show. Boom! They drove us there. They pushed the show back, and we came in out of the van, throwing stuff and carrying stuff. Oh, God. People, if they can provide such a good example, I can follow it and say, you know what? I've got to stand by justice. Something terrible was done in my name, and I've got to stand for justice.
Did you see how he switched things up there? We got to watch that again.
Name, I can follow it and say, you know what? I've got to stand by justice.
So because his band that he's a part of, that they changed the album for him and they're going on tour, because of this band showing up late and having difficulties, typical band stuff that happens to almost every band out there whenever you're traveling, if you're not planning well. This typical band, because they had to go through what looked like difficult work, he has the motivation to stand for justice. What can someone explain to me how those connect there? Other than, hey, if you want a goal, you have to have the motivation to do that goal. Like they were part of the band and they were motivated to do it. They were going to do it. And of course, right? If you're part of a band and people paid you to be somewhere and you want to excel in life, of course you're going to do some difficult things. I don't think he specifically goes in detail what all they really had to do, but if there were complications with the moving and the setting it up and all this other stuff, of course complications are going to happen, but that's an easy thing to do because you want to make it big. You want to get that money. Otherwise, people are going to be asking for their money back. Or you're not going to be able to sell the t-shirts or the songs or whatever they did in person. Or you're not going to get the fame. People, if you want fame, you'll do pretty much anything to get it. Whether that be join a random Facebook group and act as their mod, or if you want fame and a sense of purpose, you are going to, do crazy things, go across the country and only play in front of 10 people because you want that clout, as the cool kids said 10 years ago. But so I mean, it's very interesting to me that he thinks so highly of what happened and it changed him.
Something terrible was done in my name, and I've got to stand for justice. Those two words that she said to me, she wrote to me, the victim, thank you.
All right, so he's going into the whole thing about this David fellow raping this other person, allegedly. So, what an interesting transition there. So, because of this motivation that he saw of other band members of a very small band and their desire to go to the tour, that has given him the motivation or the meaning to I don't know, give justice, as he says, to make sure that we say, hey, it was bad for this David person to assault another person part of the group. And then he goes to talk about that for a little bit longer, and we talked about that in the previous video. So why? I have so many questions. Like, why does he need this motivation? Is it not enough that someone in general that you might have known, or a lot of people you knew, that they would have been injured by something? Like, that's something definitely worth standing up for. Why do you just, or does he mean that, hey, we should give justice to do bad things to this David person? That we should shun him or ridicule him or insult him? Maybe if you watch, you'll find out. But it seems like they have very little relevance. Um, but let's keep going. What else does he say about the band here? He gets any more detail here in the third video that he's done since being packed from the tour.
Maintain eye contact too long, keeps things going, right? Now he makes it move. Joe, right there in the middle, is giving the commands, right? This is the central hive between him and Dana on the left. Look at this guy. Look at Dana. Oh, God. Right? Do what he says. This is the first voice that came to my head with this man. Do exactly what this man says. And, maybe, look down at the ground a little bit every once in a while just to let him know you're top. You know what I mean? You're top. And he brings that drumming in Scythian that drives me fucking religiously, ecstatically wild. Right? And that's Owen. That's Owen. Look at Owen, people. Owen is probably the nicest human being on the planet. Probably the nicest. And he had some man, let me tell you something special. He had some man sit on his cord. Dude was being loud and raucous, not respecting the sanctity of Junius. Do you understand? And that man looked at him and said, "Get up." Right? And he ignored him. He ignored him, so I got him up. And I would have thrashed him within an inch of his 6'6" life. Dude was at least twice my size. But something came over me, people. I saw the honor of Owen. And all of my fear left.
Ah, Gizmo, that's interesting. Because, yeah, he definitely does respond to other people like Madeline or whatever her name is, and all these other people that have been on the channel. Like yeah, as you say, random cringe praise bombing. Most of the time, he's not even really justified at all. Is this just his what's it called, the cult terminology? Someone in the chat remind me, but love bombing. So, it's the idea that, hey, if you are either part of the group or you're starting to begin the group, a lot of cult leaders, what they'll do is they will give you all these compliments and show you all this love and appreciation and attention. Sometimes there's ulterior motives. Sometimes it's just something that they do. But it has a very special effect because it makes them feel loved and appreciated, and therefore more likely to join this group. But this acceptance and love that is sent to somebody, which is maybe not even a real love, maybe not even actually looking out for them, maybe just having an ulterior motive, maybe that this, for certain people, if you are somebody that is very insecure about yourself, you have low self-worth, if you feel like you have no purpose, all this attention from a quote-unquote high figure, very prestigious feller, that would make you feel really special, and it hijacks your self-critical reasoning, the thinking part of your brain, so that you're just smooth sailing. It's like, I don't even care what they say. No one will actually say that, but like on a cognitive level, you're not thinking, oh, are their arguments right? Is it this safe to do this? Is this actually good for me? No, at that point, you're just you're caring about that purpose and that attention and that acceptance that we all dearly want to have. So maybe that's all he's doing. Maybe he's just praising the band. Why he would do this, I don't know. But he himself has said that it changed him in a different way. So maybe there's multiple things that he's doing here. Maybe he's trying to get attention for the band. Maybe he's trying to as you say, praise bombing. Maybe he is just telling you what he's saying, what he's thinking. That what he said earlier of, hey, I know this seems like normal band stuff, but it changed my way I look at things, my experience.
Left me. All of my fear left me. These people are champions and they have been
Okay, I kind of want to see this honestly. I remember him like praising LH, saying he's good looking and asking if there's a girlfriend or etc. Oh my gosh.
inspirational for me. And I appreciate the fact that they're letting me travel with them and perform with them. I really do. Look at them. Ryan, Matthew, Joe, Dana, and Owen. Right? Love it. Okay. Sorry. That's people. Look, I can't help it. It's been an outstanding experience. Let's play Oracle now. And then we'll jump into some Greek that will blow your mind.
All right, so we're not gonna listen to their music, but that's really fascinating. So I can't read his mind, of course. All I can go out is what is told us. So assuming that he's not lying, assuming that there's not some other motive, assuming that there is not specifically just, hey, I'm just trying to advertise, I'm just trying to make other people feel good. Assuming that's the case, there could be other ways to look at this. One way is that there seems to be some type of infatuation, some type of love, high thinking of this group, um, because he's interpreting laziness, normal band chaos. I don't know if, I don't think I showed it. Maybe I need to find it. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Let's go back here.
Give you the good news first, right? Lady Babylon is full of good people. Right? Happened right there. Blow him up. That's Joe. Look at Joe. Right, people? Oh, God. Right. There's the poet. In the world, this is the moment of creation. What are we doing? Show the people sitting around him. There I am trying to listen, right? Oh, God. Who's sitting next to me? Just look at Madeline. Look at the people, right? People, look at them all. Look, what are they doing? They're listening. You can focus out a little bit, Judith. Jesus Christ, right? Look at faces engaging, right? Everybody's looking, and what are they doing? They're talking to the poet about how he's making his music, right? It's educational. It's educational. It's advancement. Put that guy up there. It's advancement. The fact that this guy can stand there and talk about Jesus being arrested in a public park with a naked kid, the fact that he can do that is only because all of these good people along the way have done professional, tremendous, incredible jobs. And you can't.
And just a bit of a side note, if someone like Ammon tells you that, and you're someone like Madalena who really loves Ammon, who finds so much appreciation, and you're called out and you said, oh yeah, we're here, we're hanging out, we're listening, we're learning, and you're getting that kind of attention in front of, I guess this is a forbidden video. It was already taken down, but say what, 3, 4,000, 500, 5,000 views? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of attention, um, for what without Ammon would possibly be a nobody, right? You probably wouldn't get much any attention online. Um, so, and not even only the attention, but the love and the admiration that could really speak to you. That's just another thing, is that it's kind of like the love bombing. It's that, hey, you might be part of this group and you might not even realize why you're part of this group. You might be part of it because of how it makes you feel, but that feeling that you get, you use other things to justify that by saying like, oh, he's such an expert and he's got all these scholars and he's got all this wisdom, and you might feel special about that as well. But oftentimes the way our brain works is that we go after what feels good and then we justify things later rather than looking at the evidence, use critical thinking, and then uh, checking out the other parts of life and all that. So that's that. Um, I did want to talk a little bit more there. So as I said before, um, this seems to be a disproportionate amount of praise for musicians simply performing and talking about their art. He frames normal concert finales as near religious experience, nemesis, the zone, which is not typical fan commentary. I don't even know if we watched that part of the video, but he did say that. Normal backstage conversations become creation, advancement, education. Those beloved musicians, they all have something good. They want something good for people. It seems to be some type of idolization of assigning moral purity, like these people are like inherently good or moral when they're simply doing band stuff. He's treating routine band logistics as tremendous and incredible. He says the only way to repay them is to be perfect. The only way is to do a perfect job. So I from that I interpret as when he goes on the screen, on the band, on the stage, he has to do a perfect job to represent them. Um, which maybe, and this is speculation, but it could be an aspect of like some type of self-sacrificial devotion of not just normal adoration for a band, but uh, an aspect of like, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself, or maybe he's just talking outside of his butt. Who knows? Um, he There's also an aspect where he could be using the band as some type of an emotional anchor. Like he here this thing the first one is in the stream. Oh, and the second one too. The first and second videos we watched, both videos talk about this whole David fella and how he has a band, not band, a cult member. Or of course not in his eyes, but he sees it as a band member. I can't speak. A group member, part of the Ammonites, this David fella, met Ammon in person and knew many people in the group and had, a big Ammonite, okay? And he does this to people in his group. So naturally, he is going to be on the defensive. He's going to feel like, oh, shoot, things are crumbling. Not because like there's some logical reason, but that's just happened when people in our group, if something bad happens to them, if you've been part of a church and someone on the outside attacks someone in your church or a friend or a family member, like yeah, a family member, perfect. So if you have a family member that's been attacked by someone or been wronged by the police or someone at school or something like that, many people are going to get defensive and feel like really strong emotions about that because you have that sense of identity and group belonging. So when someone in your group attacks someone else in your group, that's very chaotic. That feels very uncomfortable. That feels very unsafe. And then Ammon, of course, has other people feeling unsafe that he's kind of hinted at. And of course, he might even be worried about what Neil's going to say. That's why he's projecting about Neil, of what Neil's going to say about the critiques. And of course, Neil did respond, and then Ammon responded back with some really lame response that didn't address any of Neil's arguments. So that kind of chaos is going to be very uncomfortable for someone like Ammon, who, from all the likes of it, while he might see himself as very high, or see himself as, having lots of skills and knowledge and stuff like that, this appears to come from a place of insecurity, of and the reason I say that is because this is very typical of people that don't have any ability to handle any kind of criticism because their self-worth, their sense of self-worth, their identity, or sense of confidence in themselves is very low, so that any ability to receive criticism is like, oh no, I can't even entertain that because that would make me feel so uncomfortable. So that's why you see all kinds of narcissists being unable to respond to any kind of criticism or being told what to do. And that of course explains all these other things that happen with him that we won't get into right now. But in all of this chaos that I can almost guarantee that Ammon has and feels. I could see an essence of, is he bringing up this whole Junius thing because he wants to share about how he feels about the band and the tour, and I mean he clearly thinks highly of it. He clearly enjoyed his time. He felt special. You get a sense of like, oh, he felt really special to be able to be part of the tour. I mean, of course, who wouldn't? I mean, he got to be on stage. There's definitely certainly people out there that would love to be part of a band and get that attention and have a whole crowd go woo. And of course, he probably hasn't gotten this much attention in person from his dare I say cult followers. So to see him do that would be very exciting for him. And not only that, but all the, oh yes, Ammon, you're a natural. You were great at this. You did a great job, and all this other cool stuff you did. It was so great to meet you, and I want to touch you. And you had David himself handing the, what was it, purple shells or something like that to Ammon. Like that is like, whoa, oh, this is a pretty expensive thing. At least that's what people say, is that this type of shell is very expensive. And that's like, oh, shoot, this person clearly went out of their way to do this. So that is a big ego boost. If you have followers, if you got to see all kinds of people all over the world, all of the USA, that were doing all these things like loving, getting exciting for you. So the attention, the proximity, the stimulation, a sense of belonging, a sense of admiration, he got all of this because he was part of Junius. So I could see a situation where Ammon is seeing this band and thinking, wow, like this was such an amazing experience. I'm loving the high of it. So of course he wants to talk about it, and maybe even identifies with the group, so talking about the positives of the group, and that way hypes himself up because he associates himself with this group. He was part of the band, and of course he would associate himself mentally. So then there's another aspect of where maybe because of all that chaos that's going on and that sense of safety and anxiety that comes with your whole group being torn apart and being attacked, maybe he is talking about this so much because he wants to get that feeling of security and safety and peace. So this is possibly some kind of defensive maneuver where he is protecting himself from feeling that shame and that fear. Just like with other things we see in this group, is that many of them will be people that have not the most exciting lives, not doing the best for themselves, and people that want a purpose, or lots of the people in the group we know have done drugs, which is I'm not like shaming people that do drugs in general, but what I'm saying is that a lot of times people do drugs and get addicted because they want to cope with something that is going on in their life, whether it be a mental health condition or a situation in their life, whether like a family member dying or something like that. So naturally, it would make sense for someone in that situation who does drugs, who is already looking for things to ease the pain. The same person that's going to be looking for drugs is also going to be looking for this attention from Ammon. And so in this way, in the same way a drug addict looks to a drug for protection from their sadness in life, I can see a situation where Ammon himself is looking to distract, not even on a like a actual conscious level, but a subconscious level of, hey, I don't want to talk about this bad stuff. And maybe that's kind of what he's getting at there with the whole motivation to go towards justice, because he's like, it makes me feel uncomfortable to talk about this David guy, but we have to because justice is what's most important. And with the Ammonite, with the Junius group, I saw the people being so motivated, even in their hardship, that even though they might have been uncomfortable to do it, they saw it was worth doing. So I don't know. Maybe that's the parallel. Maybe we got to the bottom of it just by talking to myself. But so this is possibly why he keeps returning to this topic, even while discussing a soul infiltration, cosmic justice. He's talking about Neil, and I mean that's obviously a big one, an obvious example of bringing up Gnostic informant when there's absolutely no reason to do that, to imply that he has somehow been a part of a grape situation, which is like just ridiculous and cruel, and especially the other things he said where he's kind of encouraging violence against this David person, but likewise against Neil and the other guy that has no reason to ever even be mentioned in the group of those, whatever his name is, and this is kind of why you see the claims of him putting this band in the group of cosmology, like almost like the meanings of life, and so he can use them as mythic allies in his battle against the grapist, the insurrectionist, the beast, which is words he used there. But what was mentioned before there, I can't remember. I put it on the thingy. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Ali mentioned what I think is very telling, is that somehow maybe this is about him. Maybe this is his projection of what he desires and his identity of himself. So when he talks about these other band people as being, motivational and great and all this other stuff, he is projecting on what he wants to see in himself, and that plays a part in how he transitions from that to, hey, that's why I need to talk about this David stuff. Because David, I mean, Ammon Hillman, he wants to be seen as artistic. He wants to be seen as profound and persecuted and morally righteous and cosmically significant. And he's using the band as a mirror for himself, as he calls them the god of music. He calls them advancement, as he talks about the moment of creation of this band and what's associated with it. So, anyways, that's my ramblings from psychological perspective there. If you found that interesting, make sure to check out my other channel. Well, you don't have to check out my channel, but at least this channel at the minimum, if you're interested in Ammon and news about that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think in the comments about how you understand what's going on here.